Big India Today exclusive report coming up here on India Today. The Indian Army has foiled an ambush bid by Pakistani Border Action Team, a bad action team along the line of control. So Pakistani infiltrators close to an Indian Army post were trying to ambush an Indian patrol, an Indian post, but the Indian Army was ready. There was a swift operation not just to beat back the ambush, but counter ambush measures were put in place along the LOC, and 7 Pakistanis have been gunned down. We are told at least 2 to 3 are serving Pakistan Army personnel, including a Pakistan Army officer. And this happened on the night intervening February 4 and February 5. This incident is reported to have taken place in the KG sector or the Krishna Ghati sector south of Pir Panjal in Jammu and Kashmir's Poonch-Rajouri district. Sources in the Indian Army tell India Today that the Indian Army succeeded in beating back an ambush laid by a border action team or a BAT team of the Pakistan Army. It's a hybrid team of Pakistan Army regular soldiers, retired soldiers and terrorists. So they operate in tandem. They're better trained. They're better trained to come very close to Indian Army posts and attack either a patrol or the Indian Army positions, including it could well be an LP or a listening post right at the LC. So these are specialized units for cross-border operations of the Pakistan Army. They were attempting to attack a forward post, but the Indian Army was alert in the KG sector and they beat back this ambush effort. I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Shiv Arur, breaking this big story live and exclusive. Shiv, bring us details. This could have been big. They could have attempted to behead our soldiers. They've done that in the past, exactly in the same sector, in the KG Poonch-Rajouri sector. Bring us details, Shiv. What happened?
Gaurav, you and I have both reported from the KG sector several times over the last few years. This is a difficult, very, very hostile terrain, and a treacherous part of the line of control where, infiltrations have happened quite often in the past. Like you said, this is in the, in the Poonch area near Jammu where this took place. What we are given to believe is that this was on the intervening night of February 4th and 5th. Under the cover of darkness, there was a large border action team that was looking to, looking for some kind of a spectacular action where they would ambush or attack, one or at least 2 Indian Army forward posts in that area. And you and I have been to those posts. We know, how close they are to the line of control. In line with Kashmir Solidarity Day, as they call it in Pakistan, for some kind of a spectacular act of blood spilling, to demonstrate, the actions of the Pakistan Army. Unfortunately for the Pakistan team that was trying to infiltrate, the Indian unit that was there outflanked them. They were caught in a kill zone and an ambush of their own making, really, where 7 of them, including, I'm told, 3 Pakistan Army regulars, including 1 officer, were killed. This triggered a huge amount of crossfire between both sides. And remember, there's meant to be a ceasefire that's taking place. That's also the reason, perhaps, why there's nothing official that's come out from the army. In fact, a very anodyne series of news reports have come out saying that there was a mine blast in that area, resulting in the deaths of certain persons there. But I can confirm to you, because I've been speaking to people on the ground there, that these were 7 Pakistani infiltrators who were part of that border action team, and they were ambushed by the Indian Army there.
So that's a brilliant operation, and Shiv, breaking that story live and exclusive here on India Today. You spoke of Kashmir Solidarity Day. Now, this is the day that Pakistan that claims that Jammu and Kashmir is its jugular vein. And it's frustrated. It's frustrated, especially after the Balakot airstrikes. Pakistan has been able to do nothing, but they do try, Shiv. They try, and especially in this KG sector, Poonch and Rajouri sector, Bimbargali sector, they've succeeded in the past. They've beheaded our soldiers. we've of course paid back with interest. But why is it that this is an area of choice for the Pakistan Army, Shiv?
Gaurav, as you and I both know, the Krishna Ghati sector, the Mendhar, Poonch sectors have long been, notoriously called highways for infiltration. And one of the reasons for that is the terrain and the lay of the land near the LOC fence there makes it very, very conducive for covert infiltration and intrusions by small or large groups, including border action teams. And that's one of the reasons why such a large number of encounters have taken place in just these three sectors, including Bimbar Gali, like you rightly mentioned. In this particular case, like you said, the Pakistani side has been under pressure for many weeks and months, to demonstrate that they are still active, that they're still able to hit and hurt the Indian Army in this area or elsewhere, whether it is Pakistan Solidarity Day or not. The ISI has been under pressure as well. You've got Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, very, very tellingly recently, put out a word that sounded like a soft kind of overture to India, saying let's, sort out the Kashmir issue peacefully, and that he's willing to talk. And all of this was happening while this ambush was taking place, which tells you just how Pakistan really, really works when it comes to Kashmir. In this particular case, Gaurav, it's of course ironic that there's not much news, not much spotlight, because the army is also constrained from revealing too much information, given the sensitivities on the ground, the fact that it is a live situation, and the fact that there is a active quote-unquote ceasefire in place there. But at the tactical level, as you and I both know, it's a very, very different story.
It is. And Shiv, stay with me. I want to bring into this conversation Lieutenant General Vinod Bhatia, former Director General of Military Operations, somebody who's a Maroon Beret, who joins us on this special broadcast. General Bhatia, welcome on India Today. Your appreciation of the situation of Pakistani, not only as a border action team being neutralized, there's a serving Pakistan Army captain, we are told, a young Pakistan Army officer who's been killed. Would this indicate Pakistan's desperation ahead of, their February 5 Kashmir Solidarity Day, their so-called Kashmir Solidarity Day?
Thank you, Gaurav. You have and Shivarur have detailed the terrain, the weather. But let me start, having served out there, having been the geos of that area.
Yes.
Let me salute the soldiers there. The weather in Delhi and other parts of India may have improved, but the weather and the terrain conditions continue to be very nasty, very harsh in this particular area. And Pakistan's modus operandi remains the same. They send in the bad teams to create, fear and terror into our rear areas, into our own defenses, and salute the soldiers for negating this. And this is not only on the 4th, 5th night, this has also happened on 30th and 31st January also, both days.
Yes.
If you look at the Twitter account of White Knight Corps, you'll find that. Now, the one thing was the Kashmir Solidarity Day. Definitely every year it happens and our troops are very alert. But it is also, I think, indicative of Pakistan trying to create terror on the 4th, 5th night because of Delhi elections. Let's not forget that. And Pakistan's, policy of creating terror has not changed despite Balakot, despite the surgical strike. What has changed is that there were no terror attacks outside of J&K. But that does not mean that the terror network is not intact. Terror network is intact. The violence levels have gone down, and the peace and prosperity which the Kashmiri people are seeing in Kashmir after the Article 370 abrogation has not gone down well with Pakistan. They will do all what they can and they do to ensure that peace does not return to Kashmir. So this is something.
It's interesting you draw this link with Delhi elections on the 5th of February. So what Pakistan perhaps was trying to do, and Shiv, imagine how this ecosystem would then be working, that there are outside forces that come into play even in domestic elections in our country, and how. But that's point one. Point two, Shiv, Pakistan Army regulars being involved when a ceasefire is in place, when a ceasefire that Pakistan sought a ceasefire so that it could concentrate on its AFPAC border, where hundreds of Pakistani soldiers have been killed since Taliban's takeover and America leaving that country. It just goes on to show terror remains in Pakistan's DNA, Shiv.
Very much in its DNA, Gaurav. And, as General Bhatia very rightly pointed out, the Delhi elections and the date of this ambush coinciding with that, I completely agree. Let's not forget last year, Gaurav, during the during the oath-taking ceremony of the Modi 3.0 Sarkar, the ambush that took place on pilgrims in Riyasi, in the Jammu division of Jammu and Kashmir. So, these things are definitely timed, keeping in mind what's happening in domestic politics, big events in the country, whether it is a big political day, an election day, Republic Day, Independence Day, etc. Because the agencies involved, the ISI, Pakistan, the army there, the terror groups, are looking to grab the maximum eyeballs. They want maximum impact. A small attack on a forward, army post in the KG sector on the day that Delhi goes to polls, would explode it into an outsized kind of national headline beyond just the kind of tactical action it would be.
Yes.
So these things really, really matter. And like you rightly said, the agencies are all under pressure. The ceasefire on the ground has largely held. There are, of course, small tactical actions that take place, but the fact that infiltrations continue to take place just show that Pakistan cannot ever be trusted. And that's one of the good reasons why India has not backed off or let its guard down there.
Oh, absolutely. General Bhatia, who knows that better than you, that Pakistan cannot be trusted. Terror is in Pakistan's DNA. But the fact also remains they've used exactly the same sectors south of Pir Panjal and all the way, whether it's Poonch-Rajouri, Krishna Ghati sector, Bimbar Gali, going up to Samba, Kathua, Hiranagar, trying to infiltrate and spreading terror south of Pir Panjal, including in Udhampur, Doda, Kishtwar, which they have done successfully in the past several months. So this is actually kudos to the Indian Army. Otherwise, we would have had another bigger terror incident on our hands in our country.
Well, you're right, absolutely. The terror will continue, but we also have to understand that our counter-infiltration grid is very effective, it's very strong. And though the ceasefire is sustaining, that does not imply that Pakistan will not try to infiltrate. It's infiltrated in the past also. But the change which I see is, most of the time what happens is, the terrorists who are coming, who are being sponsored by Pakistan are not willing to take the risk and come into our territory. What they do is they just come in, and as you know, we are close within 50 meters to 100 meters, even closer than that. They fire a few rounds, and then they say, "Army ne fire kar diya," they go back. So that is how you see now the change, that the Pakistani terrorists are now supported and they are pushed by the Pakistani army who accompany them. It's a bad action also, and after the bad action, these 4 or 5 terrorists were pushed across for further damage. And that is something which I always salute the soldiers. Despite the weather, despite the visibility, despite all the terrain conditions, they are maintaining the vigil 30th January, 31st January, 4th, 5th February, and they'll continue to do so. But not terror attack, they will succeed. There will always be a time when the army will not be able to, the terrorists have succeeded only once. The army can succeed 100 times.
Absolutely.
But that is where terror comes into being. And Pakistan is not going to change its policy.
That is something that everybody in India, and especially that ecosystem, that Khan market cabal that wants cricketing ties and film ties and mushairas with Pakistan, needs to understand that Pakistan, and if you watch their television networks, their civil society members, Shiv, they say that Pakistan should continue support to armed struggle in Jammu and Kashmir, as they put it. So it's like 50 shades of Hafiz Saeed. That's what Pakistan is all about. And the fact remains, Shiv, now they're getting Hamas terrorists to be a part of their so-called struggle for their Shehrag or their jugular vein in Kashmir, Shiv.
That is correct, and that is in fact something that we've been reporting this week as well. I'm not surprised that the story hasn't gotten much attention, given how inconvenient it is to a certain section, Gaurav. But Hamas representatives in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir attending, a terror conclave of sorts, which were attended by senior leaders of the Jaish-e-Mohammad and the Lashkar-e-Taiba, the two principal Pakistani, anti-India terror outfits, is extremely telling. The Hamas has been almost entirely decimated. Its entire leadership has been wiped out. Yes. You and I have both reported it from the front lines of Israel and Gaza. And yet Hamas representatives have the bandwidth and the energy to attend a terror conclave in POK. It's incredible. What exactly are they looking for? It's intriguing because given what's happening in Gaza right now, given the huge shifts that are taking place as far as the people of Gaza are concerned, the priority for Hamas which is a terror outfit, there is no doubt about it, is to attend a conclave far away in Pakistan or to send one of their representatives there. What exactly are they looking for from the ISI or, Pakistani terror agencies is really the big question here. And it's something that India should take note of very, very seriously.
Shiv and Jal Bhatia, stay with me. So Hamas, which is again a radical Islamist terrorist organization, it was part of a radical Islamist terror meet in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Top commanders of UN-designated banned terrorist organizations like the Jaish-e-Mohammad and the Lashkar-e-Taiba, alongside Hamas representatives. They were all a part of this so-called meet on Jammu and Kashmir, and that perhaps should once again be a very clear indication of the clear and present danger that Pakistan's state-sponsored radical Islamist terror poses to India.
After suffering massive blows from Israel, Hamas attended a terror meeting in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The event, titled Kashmir Solidarity and Al-Aqsa Flood Conference, was held in POK's Rahwalpur. It was attended by Hamas and top commanders of Islamist terror groups like Jaish-e-Mohammad and Lashkar-e-Taiba. According to sources, the terrorists raised slogans against India, especially against Prime Minister Modi and Union Home Minister Amit Shah. Dr. Khalid Al-Qadumi, Hamas's representative in Iran, took part in the meeting, which marked the first ever visit of a Hamas leader to POK. Qadumi also held a separate meeting with Maulana Fazlur Rahman, the chief of Pakistan Jamaat-ul-Ulema-e-Islam. Meanwhile, Jamaat-e-Islami Pakistan chief Hafiz Naeem criticized the Pakistani government in Lahore and claimed that India eliminated several Pakistani terrorists in the last few years.
भारत और उसकी राह ने पाकिस्तान में कितने ही लोगों को टारगेट करके कत्ल किया है। ये हमारी आजादी खुद मुख्तारी पर हमला है, हमारी सोवेरेनिटी पर हमला है, लेकिन हमारे हुक्मरानों की तरफ से जब इसकी मजम्मत नहीं की जाती और भारत को एक्सपोज नहीं किया जाता, तो फिर हम ये समझते हैं कि शायद ये कोई डील करके बैठे हैं।
Sources tell India Today that intelligence agencies in India are keeping a close tab on all activities in POK and have prepared a complete report on the same. With Shivani Sharma and Arvind Ojha in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Let me once again bring in General Bhatia into this conversation. General Bhatia, Pakistan wants cricketing ties with India. Pakistan is desperate for trade and perhaps aid from India. At the same time, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammad and Hamas are tying up for this so-called Kashmir solidarity. How should India view this?
Like I said earlier, Pakistan's policy of terror and proxy war will continue, and they realize the futility, but they're not giving up. And that if they get Hamas, the Indian army is very combat-hardened, combat-rich and battle-hardened army. It doesn't really, we should not be too bothered about it. I see a lot of this thing that Pakistan trained commandos have come into Indian territory and all. We'll sort them out. We've done it for the last 3 decades. And we'll continue to do that. We'll ensure the security of our people. We'll ensure the security of Jammu and Kashmir. We'll ensure the security of citizens. So even if Hamas comes, then I think Hamas will basically give them moral support, maybe a little bit of training, nothing else. They're not going to get involved. They've got enough on the platter in any
General,
case.
the point that you made, and I completely agree with you, the Indian army is battle-hardened, and if those terrorists come into our country, we'll sort them out. But General, that's like pruning the leaves of the terror tree with roots in Pakistan. Post-Balakot, should India not continue to act bigger, imposing greater costs on the Pakistan army and that military jihad complex, so that the people in Pakistan know that they cannot afford to spread terror in India? So one Balakot isn't enough. There are many, many ways of punishing Pakistan. Shouldn't that be India's template?
Gaurav, you're absolutely right. But we have to understand that Pakistan, after Pulwama, has not crossed the red lines. It has kept the terror pot boiling. but it knows how much it can do and how much it can't do. And every time there's a terror attack, we really don't have to go in. But Pakistan knows that it has to pay the cost. The low-cost, high-effect war has actually become a high-cost, low-effect war.
Yes.
So Pakistan was waging a low-cost, high-effect war for the last 3.5 decades. But since the Uri and Balakot strikes, the low cost has become high cost for Pakistan. They have lost a lot. They've lost the prestige. The armed forces have been degraded, actually.
Absolutely. And that is what India needs to do, degrade Pakistan's ability to spread terror in India. And my colleague Shivani Sharma now joins me for more. Shivani, Hamas joining hands with Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammad is clear indication that Pakistan continues to remain a state sponsor of radical Islamist terror, now seeking help of Hamas. What's the government strategy and the army's strategy to deal with this threat?
See, Gaurav, once again, Pakistan is exposed of this terror nexus and providing and supporting terror nexus on its soil. Remember, Jaish-e-Mohammad, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Hamas, they all are holding this kind of a joint open event on the Pakistani soil. This is happening in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. And the kind of speeches, the kind of address these leaders are making against India, this is not happening for the first time, Gaurav. We've seen how on social media, anti-India toolkit campaign is run by all these groups on the name of solidarity. On 5th of February, that is marked as Solidarity Day in the guise of Kashmir and Pakistan, and these terror groups, they have once again openly included Hamas terrorists, Hamas leaders against India. And the intelligence agencies have not only given out this, all the information and the videos of this kind of event that happened in Pakistan. But Gaurav, the Indian army, as we know, is very much vigilant, and it is thwarting all kind of attempts of these militants, of these terrorists, who are trying to infiltrate into the Indian borders. So
perhaps they need to hit deeper and hit harder so that Pakistan realizes that terror has consequences for its military jihad complex. There's more breaking news that's coming in, and it's a big, big story we're breaking here on India Today. It's a big revelation that comes after US President Donald Trump's crackdown on US aid. Where was that money going? Big, big story. One of the beneficiaries of US aid, which funds non-government organizations across the globe, was the Falah-e-Insaniyat Foundation, a front of a UN-designated banned terrorist organization called the Lashkar-e-Taiba. The FIF, or Falah-e-Insaniyat Foundation, and Lashkar-e-Taiba were directly involved in the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, in which 166 people were massacred by 10 Pakistani terrorists. Now, according to information accessed by India Today, in October 2021, US aid, US taxpayers' money, US aid provided $110,000 to an organization named the HHRB. Now, this is a Michigan-based Islamic charity, and this Michigan-based Islamic charity had ties with several radical Islamist terrorist organizations, including Pakistan's Falah-e-Insaniyat Foundation. Imagine, American citizens were killed in the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks in 2008, and in 2021, the Joe Biden administration in the United States of America, in 2023, the US aid again gave $73,000 to this Michigan-based Islamist charity. It just goes on to show how US, that had put a $10 million bounty on Hafiz Muhammad Saeed in Pakistan through another agency, was actually paying the Falah-e-Insaniyat Foundation. And this just goes on to show, one, either the right hand in the United States did not know what the left is doing, or worse, as Donald Trump fears, the US deep state was involved in several operations. And with information coming out from the United States of America, where was this money ultimately going? We'll be tracking that story very, very closely. So the United States Agency of International Development, or USAID, over the weekend emerged as the latest casualty in the Trump administration's bid to rehole the federal government in the United States. A week after President Donald Trump ordered a 90-day pause on foreign aid, his administration removed 2 top USAID security officials after they refused to grant representatives of Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, access. We get you more in this report.
Donald Trump and Elon Musk are gunning for US aid.
I think North Carolina. We're going to win North Carolina.
In the latest, the US president has claimed that billions of dollars have been stolen at the agency to create good stories about the Democrats. Trump named the Politico and New York Times in his Truth Social post, alleging that this could be the biggest scandal in history. Billionaire Elon Musk, who's heading President Trump's plan to shrink the federal government, had declared on 3rd February that work is underway to shut down US aid, triggering outrage. In the aftermath, the USAID website went dark. The agency's headquarters were closed and staffers were told to work from home. In Washington, D.C., demonstrators gathered in protest, aiming to push back against attempts to dismantle the agency.
There is a world of people who need this support, whether it's the people who receive the benefits or the people who work in the countries. They will all lose their employment, they will all lose these benefits, and millions of women, children will die as a result. Whatever money they think they're saving is blood money.
Our jobs are gone, but hopefully the agency will remain, and one day we can come back and continue doing the work that we love to do.
It all began with Trump signing an executive order imposing a 90-day pause on all US foreign assistance pending review. The Trump administration claims that much of US aid's work is inefficient and misaligned with US interests. Trump, in fact, has publicly criticized the agency, stating that it has been run by a bunch of radical lunatics. Amid the crackdown, it has now emerged that USAID was also funding a Pak-based foundation linked to 2611 mastermind Hafiz Saeed. One of the beneficiaries of USAID, which funds NGOs across the globe, was Falai-e-Insaniyat Foundation, a front for LET. The LET and its front, Jamaat-ud-Dawa, are both designated terror organizations by India and the US. While critics warn that dismantling US aid could have dire consequences, resulting in humanitarian crisis worldwide, the fact that the agency kept funding a terror organization that was bleeding India show why Trump and Musk are bent on dismantling the agency they think is linked to the deep state. Bureau Report, India Today.
Let me get you another big story on India Today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be traveling to the United States of America on an invitation of the US President Donald Trump on the 12th of February. So this is the first meeting between the two after Trump returns to the White House. Donald Trump has in the past described Prime Minister Narendra Modi as a close friend. The two met during Namaste Trump in Gujarat and Howdy Modi in Houston, Texas. Let's listen in to Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri giving details of the travel.
You would be aware that Prime Minister would be amongst the first few world leaders to visit the United States following the inauguration of President Trump. And the fact that the Prime Minister has been invited to visit the US within barely 3 weeks of the new administration taking office shows the importance of the India-US partnership and is also reflective of the bipartisan support that this partnership enjoys in the United States. And the visit will be a valuable opportunity to engage the new administration on all areas of mutual interest. Prime Minister will hold a bilateral meeting with President Trump in both the restricted and delegation level formats. Senior US administration figures are expected to call on Prime Minister during the visit, and the Prime Minister will also have the opportunity to interact with business leaders and with members of the Indian community. There has been a very close rapport between President Trump and Prime Minister Modi dating back to President Trump's first term, and there is an obvious convergence of interests between the two countries in a number of areas: trade, investment, technology, defense cooperation, counterterrorism, in the security of the Indo-Pacific, and of course people-to-people relations. Again, I think Prime Minister's visit to the United States will give further direction and impetus to this very important partnership.
It's an explosive charge leveled by Leader of Opposition in Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi. In fact, opposition leaders including Rahul Gandhi, NCP, Sharad Pawar, Supriya Sule and UBT Sena's Sanjay Raut doubled down on their charges of wrongdoings during last year's Maharashtra elections and said that the opposition believes there are several anomalies in the voters list. The Election Commission has said it will respond to these allegations with facts and in writing. The issue has now escalated into a major face-off between Rahul Gandhi and the Election Commission.
Voter list of the Lok Sabha election.
Explosive claim by Leader of Opposition Rahul Gandhi against the Election Commission. The Congress MP once again alleged discrepancies in the Maharashtra voters list during the assembly polls won by the NDA in 2024. Rahul alleged that over 39 lakh voters were added to the Maharashtra voter list in the 5 months between Lok Sabha 2024 and assembly polls. The Congress MP claimed that the voters added were equivalent to total voters of Himachal Pradesh, and that the number of voters in the state was more than its adult population. He then alleged that voters from Dalit tribal communities were deleted. Rahul Gandhi also accused the Election Commission of not responding to their demand for copies of the entire voter list.
Why were there more registered voters in Maharashtra than the entire voting population of Maharashtra? According to the government, the population of Maharashtra is 9.54 crores. According to the Election Commission, there are more voters in Maharashtra than there are people in Maharashtra.
Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis was quick to hit back at Rahul Gandhi, calling his charges a drama.
वोटर्स कहां से आए, वोटर कहां आए, किसका नाम काटा, इसका सारा जवाब इलेक्शन कमीशन ने दिया हुआ है, इसलिए उसका अलग से जवाब देने की कोई आवश्यकता भी नहीं है। राहुल गांधी एक प्रकार से कवर फायरिंग कर रहे हैं।
The Election Commission said it would soon give a written reply to allegations made by Rahul. NCP Sharad Pawar faction MP Supriya Sule welcomed the EC's response.
हारने का कोई दुख नहीं है, जीते हारे जनता तय करती है। हम तो जीत के आए दोनों, धैर्यशील जी आए, बट बड़ी विनम्रता से हम कहना चाहते हैं कि इलेक्शन कमीशन ये फेयर होना चाहिए, इतनी हमारी मांग है। और जो हमें जो वोटर्स लिस्ट फोटो सब मांग रहे बस हमें दे दे।
Shiv Sena UBT accused the BJP of using the same formula to fight polls across the country.
अब ये 39 लाख वोट बिहार में जाएंगे। अब वो फ्लोटिंग वोट्स है, वही नाम रहेंगे, वही आधार कार्ड रहेगा, सब कुछ यही है, वो वोटर्स घूमते रहते हैं। ये एक नया पैटर्न यहाँ बन गया है और यही पैटर्न से ये लोग चुनाव लड़ते भी हैं और जीतते भी हैं।
Out of the 288 seats in Maharashtra, the BJP has emerged as the largest party with 132 seats, followed by Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena with 57 seats. Ajit Pawar's NCP faction won 41. Meanwhile, the MVA managed to win only 46 seats.
BJP has slammed the Congress, saying that Rahul Gandhi is trying to blame the Election Commission for its humiliating defeat in Maharashtra. The game is on and now the ball is in the Election Commission's court. With video journalist Jagannath, this is Mosmi Singh in Delhi for India Today.
Game on in Maharashtra. Is there another setback for the Uddhav Sena? Now, after this crushing defeat in assembly elections, unrest is rising within the Shiv Sena's UBT group. Sources are telling India Today that at least 6 members of parliament from the Uddhav Thackeray camp are already in contact. They are already in conversation with the Shinde faction, and there are reports that they may switch sides. The Shinde camp is allegedly executing Operation Tiger to facilitate this transition. So Maharashtra Minister Uday Sawant claimed that several MLAs and at least 6 MPs from Shiv Sena UBT are in talks to join the Shinde-led Shiv Sena. Sanjay Raut, of course, dismissed Operation Tiger as Operation Bakri, criticizing Shinde and accusing Devendra Fadnavis of operating behind the scenes. Shiv Sena UBT MPs met on Friday. They reaffirmed their allegiance to the party, dismissed all such claims.
जब सब कुछ अच्छा चल रहा है और उनके ऊपर ही आरोप हो रहे हैं, तो फिर खबरें घुमाएं कैसे? तो ये खबर छोड़ दीजिए। और ये खबर इसलिए छोड़ी, इसलिए हमने आज तुरंत, आप जानते हो शुक्रवार के दिन लोकसभा में जब सांसद चलते तो सांसद अपने अपने कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी में जाने के लिए तैयार रहते। ऐसे वक्त में सभी यहाँ मिले, सभी आए हैं और सभी आपके सामने बैठे। शिवसेना का एक भी सांसद कहीं गया नहीं, वो 100% शिवसेना उद्धव बाला साहब ठाकरे पार्टी के साथ में है और निष्ठापूर्वक है।
कांग्रेस जैसी नचाती है वैसे ही नाच रहे हैं, तो लोग उनके साथ नहीं रहेंगे, क्योंकि नीचे वाला जो वोटर्स है, जो शिवसेना हिंदू हृदय सम्राट शिवसेना प्रमुख बाला साहब ठाकरे जी के विचार को मानने वाला वोटर्स है, वो उनके साथ नहीं रहेगा। अगर वो उनके साथ नहीं रहेगा तो वहां रह के क्या करेंगे? वो एकनाथ शिंदे साहब के पास आ रहे हैं।
बात हुई आपके इन सांसदों से?
देखो, उबाटा, पूरी उबाटा संजय राउत, उद्धव ठाकरे और आदित्य ठाकरे छोड़ के हमारे पास ही आने वाले हैं।
क्या मतलब कितने जल्दी? क्या ये सभी के सभी शिंदे सेना में
आगे देखो होता है क्या।